Hey guys, it's Josiah here, back again with another video. And in this video, it's going to be something a bit different than our usual videos. We've got our lovely client Nana here, and I want to do this video just to share in terms of her story, in terms of her jumping in the program and how everything has gone for her. And yeah, without further ado, let's go. And Nana, just for viewers that don't know who you are, can you just share a bit more about kind of what you guys are doing right now in terms of your business, who you guys are helping, and what service you're providing?
So my name is Nana. I run Equilence. It's a social media connection agency. So we're focused on two goals. The biggest thing is we want to change the equestrian sport. We want to make it more accessible. We want more eyes on the sport. And we also want to introduce people to the equestrian world that wouldn't already be in it. So it's a huge untapped industry. It's a $300 billion industry. And we have our B2C side where we work with equestrian influencers and content creators. We help build them up through a masterclass, or we help the already existing ones get paid opportunities or just opportunities to work with brands, VIP, and travel access. And then we have our B2B side, and that is where we help brands, specifically brands related in wellness, skincare, and beauty, connect into the equestrian world. We do that through social media management. We can do it through pop ups and activations and different types of retainers. So it's a lot of fun, and it's all about redefining the equestrian world and helping brands scale.
Fantastic. That is great. And I remember when the first time we spoke, I was like, what is a question? It's like, just horse riding people. So for everyone to know who questions are, it's a nice word of just saying people who ride horses, right? And when I first heard that, I was like, I've jumped on thousands and thousands of calls. I've never heard anyone doing that. So it's literally a one of one that you're doing right now. And I wanted to kind of just take it back before kind of we had our conversation, right? Before you started scaling the agency at that point. Tell me about what was kind of the problems you were facing before like the hard conversation in terms of kind of your day-to-day struggles, whether that be booking appointments, that be clarity, whether that be sales, or even just kind of getting like a roadmap. What were you facing before we were kind of had a conversation?
I had no idea how people contacted brands and did outreach. Absolutely no idea. And I think for most people, it's kind of kept, a little bit secret. Most people won't really share the strategy. So it's not really where you can look it up on the internet and find what people are using. It's really a whole system that you have to set up. So I had no idea even where to start with that. And then another issue was I had no idea how to close myself a good deal and what looked like a good deal. When I first started, I think I told you my retainer pricing was like gonna start at like 200 a month, and I thought that was too little or for whatever. And I just had no idea what the price point was, no idea how to start, how to value myself, how to bring value to brands. So it was a whole myriad of just not understanding how agencies really work and how to get clients.
Yeah, because when I first talked to you, it's like you had the skill traits, like you were very fast, very responsive. But you really believe that's one thing I noticed. You really believed in your product, right? You really believe that you can actually help people, and because I know you have some experience of doing it for yourself, like as a freelancer, so you knew how brands could grow from this, and you actually believed in it. You just didn't have kind of the strategy on how to do it, right? Day by day by day, and kind of the roadmap. So that was kind of something. Something particular because not a lot of people have the same amount of confidence you have. And I wanted to ask, kind of like, what things did you try before kind of jumping on this? Did you try learning by yourself? Did you try any YouTube videos, any other programs, anything like that? Or
I mostly tried just Instagram marketing because
Mhm.
I most of
Oh,
my home base is in Instagram because I'm also a content creator myself, and that's really how we built our audience on Equilence and how we reached influencers. But it's a little bit harder, and Instagram's a pay to play, so it's an investment if you want to secure clients and brands that way. And then also it really did shift our reach because the focus for Instagram is to be for the B2C part, so really it's supposed to be for the equestrians. And so we had to mix posts that were, trying to reach out for brands, but I liked you know, the allure of Equilence. I like that it's a little bit secretive, that you don't really know exactly what it's about until you kind of get into working with us. So it kind of felt like I was destroying that allure, posting and trying to boost it and reach clients. So that was really the only thing I was trying, and you know, it was it wasn't very efficient.
Just gonna ask kind of the question. You mentioned that before joining the program, you mentioned that you're doing Instagram and everything like that. Can you just explain kind of what happened? Because just so we can understand what you tried before and how things are different.
Yeah, I mostly utilized Instagram. Um, the only thing is, I enjoy the allure that Equilence has, and Instagram is mostly supposed to be for our B2C side. It's not supposed to be for the B2B and reaching out brands. So it almost kind of, every time we posted about promotions to try to attract brands, it would almost destroy that allure. So I didn't want that to happen. So it was just not a very efficient way, and Instagram's a play to pay, so you had to really boost, and it's very expensive and costly. So not
Mm-hmm.
not very great.
I understand, and a lot of people say that about Instagram, right? Kind of the big winners are kind of just putting so much money into it that's very hard to outcompete them. And I wanted to ask as well because you're doing a lot of things kind of before. You've seen a lot of problems that you couldn't scale the agency. You didn't actually know how to, even though you knew you can actually help other brands. What kind of shifted for you to kind of like search for help? Because I know we reached out to you and everything, but what kind of shifted in that kind of like I like to put it kind of a F this moment where like I'm tired of being what I'm doing. And did you have a moment like that where like things just shifted that made you kind of want to jump on a call with us and kind of actually get this problem sorted?
I don't know if I really had much of a shift. I knew that it was just something that I really wanted to get done and get brands.
Mm.
And at that stage, we had also invested into our website, which allows brands to just easily log in and use our website, and work with our influencers. So at that point, it was just kind of, how do I get the brands? How do I get them onto the website? And um, it was a lot of that. So I wanted to find help and how to do it, effectively. So when I got the message, it was just good timing, very good timing.
And I wanna hit on that because a lot of people think they need a website to get clients. But what I found and what we found, correct me if I'm wrong, is that you have the website, but majority of the people that you're booking in, like they didn't even see the website. They basically just seen the LinkedIn conversation and then booked into a call with you, right? So walk me through kind of that kind of like change in belief where you're like, I don't even need the website, just need people to jump on the call.
Yeah, I that is very true. Like, I don't use the website. I know we should, because, it's set up to have brands working and using it. So, it's something that we're going to develop a little bit more and use it, but I realize, especially when it comes to agencies, and I look at other agencies and their websites, I'm like, there's no real point for it, because like, people don't work with agencies through websites. They do calls, or they book, or they see you on LinkedIn and they see what you're posting, and then they work with you there, because obviously it's retainer based. And so I don't think there's a real point in investing in a website. And for agencies too, your credibility really just speaks for itself. So it's like, if you have, I think what helps is having a good social media presence as an agency. I think that's really helpful. Only if you're doing, of course, social media, which we are. So I think that helps speak for itself. But in terms of website, I don't think it's much of a necessity.
Yeah, 100%. And I always say because a lot of people think that you need a website to generate appointments, and yeah, having a landing page is going to help 100%, but it's not necessary. And I wanted to talk about, so then you joined the program because I remember the call, you were like, Josiah, I'm going to commit to this and I'm going to just do as much as possible. And I wanted to understand kind of what was your biggest takeaways after joining the program, right? Where do you see that you got the most help in, and what kind of, um, let's say, things, systems that you built, and things that you learned that you thought, oh, I never thought I would learn this, and then you kind of got a big takeaway during the initial stages of the program.
I think the biggest thing was the LinkedIn. I think that was just super eye opening and just life changing because I always knew, and even in university, right? Because I go to a business school, they always say utilize LinkedIn, utilize LinkedIn. But what does that mean? Like tell me how to utilize, don't just say utilize LinkedIn and not show us effectively how to utilize LinkedIn because like posting and stuff, that's not really going to get you anywhere. It's connecting with people, it's having conversations, it's utilizing Sales Nav, it's all of those things that I didn't even know what Sales Navigator was. I didn't even know they had like a feature like that. So it was very helpful to actually know how to effectively use LinkedIn and also the talking scripts as well. But not only that, the biggest value I've found is, yeah, the scripting for closing calls. Like I've become such a confident closer on calls, and I always knew I was good at sales, so I knew that wasn't going to be an issue. But it was how do you close someone on a call, because it's fine to be good at sales, it's fine to talk, but you've got to know how to really get someone's mind to a position where they can accept what you're offering. Because even if you have the best offer and you throw like, oh, it's a 10K a month retainer, they're so focused on that number. But if you present to them what exactly, why you need this, why you need it at this point, and almost make them realize that, you know, there isn't really a better option than going with this because of where they're at and their goals and where they want to scale. That's really, I think, the power of it all. So I use that scripting even when I'm not doing LinkedIn outreach. I do a lot of in-person events, and that's where we've gotten a lot of our clients by just being able to identify the problem and milk that and get them interested in that. I've used that same, I just keep recycling. I use the same scripting. So I've become so confident on calls. And, at my first calls, I was always so nervous. And now I'm just like, okay, I really know what to do. So it's been great.
And I want to just touch on that because a lot of people kind of think they know how to sell until they jump on a sales call, and it's like different, completely different to what they think in their head, right?
Yeah.
And for you, you kind of you flew through the sales part. You're like, I got appointments, Josiah, I'm gonna close them no matter what, and you kind of sped run through everything. But one thing that you've done, which a lot of people have a lot of anxiety about, which I didn't see you have a lot of anxiety about, because you started off with basically zero to like maybe one case study, like not as many case studies as like other agencies, but you're still able to close that very relatively high percentage. So what do you feel you do different on calls that allows you to close on a high percentage despite you not having as many case studies? And like I said, you just started this out from basically zero to basically one, two, three. So how did that kind of go in terms of closing without a case study?
Yeah, I think what makes it different is my belief in the product. Like you have to be so passionate and you have to actually believe the product, because obviously if you don't believe in your product, then why would anybody believe in your product? It always has to start with you. So it's really, for me, I
Hmm.
think what has really driven it is always been the passion. And everyone always says that. I love your passion. I love your energy. I love that you're all about this. And obviously, because horses are my life, I ride and I do content around horses, and that's how I've generated most of my income before I started Equilence, was content creation with riding, etc. So it's really knowing the industry and also knowing and trusting yourself, and also having confidence too, because I know I have the connections, I know I have the network, I know I have all these things, and I know I can help you scale. And so if I know it, then you've got to know it too, and if you don't know it, then there's nothing for us to do. So it's really just having that, that confidence that you're very secure in your product, you're very secure in yourself, and you're secure in all of those things. So even if you don't have the case studies, even if you don't have the results, even if high key you don't even know what you're doing, because that was a lot of the early stages with a lot of the clients. You were just like, I don't know what I'm doing, but we're just going to try to wing this and figure it out. But even when in those scenarios, just having the belief and holding on to that final vision, I think is the best way to just close and sell anyone.
Fantastic. I love that you said that because a lot of people jump and are like, oh, I don't have any case studies, I can't scale my agency. But then you're on the other side, it's like, it's just how you believe on the call. And people, like, even if you have all the case studies in the world, but you don't sound confident, people will not buy, right? Because they're going to buy you as a person, how confident, how conviction, and how much conviction you have. And I always wanted to touch on I remember there was that 80% that you're closing people with just raw conviction, but then we then added the 20% of it making it sense numbers wise, right? And how much of that effect that had? Because I know we spent a few minutes going through what are the numbers, how much ROI people can actually make from this, and what kind of impact that had on the sales calls when she added that element.
That was that transitioned me completely because I had various clients that I was meeting, clients that were more focused on how really can you generate return, and I had no idea. I was like, I don't know, it's social media. And so having the numbers and being able to work through that has helped me. And now I'm in a point where I even like the client I just signed, she's not even a numbers person, and she looked at it and she was like, I don't even care about the numbers. I just, I know that you're going to do it and I trust that. So don't even spend time on it. Just tell me what you're going to do. And I'm getting a lot of people like that. But even with people that, are not well versed in the numbers, I still am able to set KPIs that work for us. And I know which KPIs now to set KPIs that are not good for social media. And that came through trial and error too, I think, as well. Just working with clients and being like, we set they had expectations but they don't fit within a social media constraint, and so running into those issues and being like, okay, these were not reasonable KPIs, and now I know what are reasonable KPIs. Now I'm very confident when a client comes to me and they have no idea what they want, or even if they think they know what they want, I can be like, okay, no, 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 that's not reasonable. These are the KPIs that are going to be the ones that we need to hit in the contract. This is what's going to be good for your brand. Let's start with this. Let's work for this number. And this is how social media works. So we're not going to, try to over deliver, over promise on something. These are the numbers that are good. So being able to just have that knowledge completely shifted, I think, our credibility, and being able to just know how to set reasonable KPIs. So that number change was just such a shift because it was our personal numbers, but it was, I was able to actually apply it now to other clients and set reasonable metrics and have reasonable goals. So it's been great.
Main thing was, like you mentioned, you having conviction and then having the KPIs to show just makes it make sense. And then, which a lot of people, which you do, is that you may have a high over promise at the start, but then after you kind of see kind of industry norm, you can then bring it down to more realistic expectations, right? And that's what we always recommend: bring it down, start high, and then bring it down to realistic expectation. And I wanted to kind of just go through in terms of kind of like right now. I know so when you first started to kind of now, how many clients have you signed from this, from kind of this LinkedIn and everything like that, from the sales and also the LinkedIn?
Um, I think 7 or 8 clients just from this alone.
Wow,
So it's been a lot, or at least where we were at, a lot.
wow,
For sure.
fantastic. So you went from basically zero, not having any kind of experience in sales, to signing 8 clients, which is amazing. And I know you signed a lot of clients early, right? And then you kind of took a break and then signed more clients. So it was kind of like with a break in between.
Yeah, it was a break in between because what was great about, and I think that's what it's cool when you're a startup agency, is it's a lot of learning. So it was nice to have, our first set of clients where we really didn't know what we were doing. But, we were able to kind of reevaluate from there and be like, okay, now I understand this is the name of the game. This is what, I didn't like with that client. This is what I did like with this client. This is the problems they set these expectations were which weren't reasonable, or maybe, these expectations were great, and so we took a gap to just kind of reevaluate and change up our game plan. So now we have a very confident strategy where we're very secure and we know what we can provide, we know what we can give. And that's the really cool thing about, I think, agencies, and especially as you're in your first year and having clients, is you're always going to learn from every client. Even if it's a client where, I did a lot of that too in the beginning, where I signed clients that I knew were a little probably red flag clients. But the experience to learn and receive from that, so that next time, okay, this is what is supposed to be right, and this is how you're supposed to lead people like that next time, that is valuable. So that's why we took a little bit of a gap, and then now we're back onto, our services. So and with that too, again, you get to know which clients mesh with your company, which clients are going to be good, which clients are not going to be a fit for your company, and you know which ones, now I'm not going to sign this guy, or I'm going to sign this one because they're saying all the right things. So I think that preliminary experience gave me the understanding to find what the right things are to sign clients now.
Fantastic. And the thing is about you, one thing I liked about you is that as soon as you kind of started the whole LinkedIn, you started booking appointments. Like you're like, just like, I'm getting so many people down and people are interested and I'm booking appointments straight away. And you get into this point is so great to see, where you kind of understand who not to sign and who to like scale up as much as possible. And I wanted to ask, what do you think contributed to all of your success? What parts of the program? I know you mentioned LinkedIn, but what other parts of the program, or what other parts of yourself, right? Because for me, from looking at you, you're very ambitious, right? You got lots of conviction and you're very fast, right? So that's something that, as a person, you just are. But outside of that, whether it be the coaching calls, whether it be the support, anything like that, what else do you feel contributed to your success?
I think it's really being able to articulate the product and what I have. And I attribute that greatly to the talking scripts, because even if I'm not completely following the script has helped me know how to present value. And that has been, I think that was the biggest struggle before. It's like I can talk all day, I can, I'm fast and whatever, I'm passionate, but like, how do I make you understand that my product does have value? That is because I have the confidence to back it, but you need the words too. So that was my missing part. Is, I had all the confidence, I had all whatever, but it was like, how do you actually say and articulate that this has meaning? And so the scripts really helped me, you know, go back and formulate, this is it, this is our value, this is what we can do, this is what we can do for you, and being able to see a company's goals and know how to set them and what's reasonable. That has really been, I think, the best thing. So I use the scripts pretty much all the time wherever I can. Even just like in person, when I'm at the in person events, I'm using the scripts. I'm using, even if I don't fully remember the scripts, I'm using things from the script. So, like, what are your plans, if, this doesn't do well, or what are your plans if this, does do well? What would that look like for you? Really trying to audit them and understand their goals, and that can help me then sell them on the product, because now I know, okay, if this was your goal, then now I know I can either sell this, or I can be like, not a great fit for us. So it's really all the scripts. I think that's been really important for me.
Fantastic, fantastic. That is great. And to be honest, it's like a lot of people don't. A lot of people get kind of two values. A lot of people really love the sales or really love the appointments. I think because you sped through the appointments, sales is like game changing. Because you were saying getting appointments from like the first 1 or 2 weeks of you starting, so that's really good. And I wanted to ask, like, let's say if there was someone that was on the fence about kind of joining the program, right? What advice would you give to a person that's in the now that was thinking about joining or thinking about doing like joining the program? What advice would you give to them?
I would give. I would say definitely just, I think this goes for any advice, whether it be business or whether it be trying to join an agency. Just go for it. Just go for it because it literally, what do you have to lose? Like a little bit of money. Money comes and goes. That's really, I think, the point of it. And I think understanding that too is really important for all businesses because money does come and go. Experience and knowledge stays, and I think that's really important. So even if you feel as if you don't know what it's going to provide for you, it could still be a learning experience, even if it's something that, isn't like maybe it didn't work for you, maybe it does work for you. You just never know. So I think take the leap. Money comes and goes. And I think don't, especially too, it's like you're already in a position where you're at. So if you want to move, you have to make leaps, whether that means a leap that might send you backwards. And if it sends you backwards, you're just right where you're at before. You're not you're not at rock bottom. You're just right here where you started. So start and just take those leaps. If you want to move, you have to make moves. That's just the name of the game, and that's the name of business. So I wouldn't hold on to hesitancy or fear. If you are sold on it and someone sold you on it, then you can make it work for you. But I think also it's also about putting in the work as well. Are you going to actually, you know, take the strategies and follow it, or are you just kind of going to sit around and kind of, hope things come to you? It's really about, taking the power into your own hands. And I think that's a really cool thing to have that freedom. So, whatever you put in, you'll get out. And I think that's with everything in life. So, I say take the leap.
That's, that is a great response. Great response. Very great response. That is like absolutely amazing. Exactly what you said is that like we'll give you everything. You give everything you have. It's just about you taking it forward, right? And yeah, taking the leap. And honestly, like knowing what you know now, it's very hard not to sign clients. Like knowing what you know now, like
Yeah.
jump on calls, you're gonna close them. So that is very nice. And I wanted to ask, just kind of like in terms of kind of the future now. I know you got some few events coming up, and kind of what would you say kind of is the future of the company and where you want to take it, and whether that be kind of how much time you want to invest into it. Maybe you want to get yourself out of the company, or perhaps you just want to just scale as much as possible. What would you say kind of the future of the agency? What does that look like at the moment?
Yeah, and I think that's also what I attribute to, this program is having the clarity of what our future even looks like now. And that came from, understanding clients, seeing how other agencies navigate, seeing the strategies and everything like that. So now I do have clarity on what Accolence looks like for me. It's all in once I graduate university in a week, which is great. I'm all in on Accolence. We've got this month of activations coming up. So after June, or at least back into July, then we're setting up our systems even more. So, the goal is to get, our setter and expand at least in this month for LinkedIn. And then once I return from the activations, hop on email and scale from there. And so the goal with Excellence is to really just have as many clients and as many eyes on as we can, and really to just kind of change the name of the sport as well. Luxury brands work with different bigger brands. That's really our demographic since it's kind of that sport, and work as well with equestrians. And recently too we came up with another model with Equilence. It's a kind of subsect. It's called Oshvalink. It's still through Equilence, but essentially that one is a subscription platform, and it pairs riders, or not even riders, people who just love horses, with other people and in the club. And it is an activity, so you can bond over a riding activity, and you get to pair up with at least 3 to 5 people a month over a riding activity. And the goal is to just do that riding activity. So it can be for anyone, which is super great. And it kind of falls into that theme of community. And I just started to launch that. So I'm really excited to see how we can scale that up as well. And even expand more, but the possibilities are really endless, and that's what I really love about agencies in general. You have your own autonomy, you can do whatever you want, and you can really just enjoy and be creative and be fun, and it's a great industry. So definitely loving agency life for sure.
Fantastic. I love that. And you're basically building like a horse riding Tinder of horse riders that want to
Pretty
communicate or
much.
network.
Yeah, pretty much like
Yeah.
a network, like kind of like I don't know if you've seen a founders club, but it's like where they do it with entrepreneurs where you
Yeah.
just bond with entrepreneurs over like an activity, whether it be tennis or pickleball. It's the same thing. We just chose horses, and obviously as this age is getting more digital and people are looking for connection and more, it's just a really good time to help people find community. So yeah.
Fantastic. Perfect. I love that. I love that. And that's all it for this one. Thank you so much for everything you've done. And if people want to search you up or anything like that, what's kind of the best place to get them, whether it be LinkedIn, Instagram, or anything like that?
LinkedIn is great. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm Nana Sarfo on LinkedIn. And then also Instagram. I'm
Yeah.
always active on Instagram. My Instagram is nana.sfo. You can find me there. But LinkedIn and Instagram are the best places for sure.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And thank you so much, Nana. And I hope you guys enjoy this. And Nana, we can't wait to help you start scaling, go to bigger brands, L'Oreal, bigger beauty brands. And yeah, that's all it from this one, guys. And take care.